Gemara Kesuvos, Mishnah in the bottom of the daf. What is Kohani?
Did I say?
Yeah.
Whether the almana is Bas Yisrael or whether she's a Bas Kohen, the ksuba is 100. Okay. Basically, they used to collect for a basula 400 zuz. That was double what the ordinary money was. That's coin.
Fine.
They twice as much as a Bas Yisrael. They figured it was a good thing to do.
Well, they permit him a certain leniency and the flexibility as to how much you're going to go and give for ksuba.
Yeah. We learned in the Brisa. The almanas kohanim ksuvos and Messiah. We learned in the Brisa it says that the almanas and the ksuba was 200.
So we have, yeah.
We just learned in the Mishnah that it says whether it was an almana Bas Yisrael or an almana Bas Kohen, the ksuba was 100. How can you say that it's 200? You can't contradicting the Mishnah.
There's two separate memories. One says almana is Kohen, and here we're learning in our Mishnah here, there are at least both of these.
Rav Ashi says there were two kohanas. There were two pieces of legislation passed by the kohanim, passed by the chachamim in this area. Meikora originally basula arbo meosus. They instituted for a basula.
What kind of?
And almana would get a mona. They came to
and almana. Don't worry about it.
We're going to get to
right now. We're talking in the first instance. That's the way they wanted to make it.
Okay. Since they saw that they were being treated with contempt, that the Jewish women were being treated with the women.
Jewish women.
The almonas.
The almonas.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm getting.
No, we're talking about almonas Bas Kohani.
I know. I'm getting to it.
Yeah.
The almonas Bas Kohanim were being treated with contempt
because it was a small amount.
Yeah,
in relation to how much the basulos Bas Kohanim were getting. And here, for an almonas Kohanim, they only get one. So they figured it's easy to divorce her. It's not a big expense in relation to the other. It's only 1/4.
They made a takana Marsa that the
200
zuz. So therefore, they would make it more.
Just like nowadays we have time zuz for psula and zuz for almana. So that's relation of 2 to 1. So they want to make the same relationship between a basula Bas Kohanim that gets 400.
Even the chazal come of since they thought they were separating from them, the amri that they said that they would, the men would say, the men who wanted to get married would say, why should we go and marry an almana? Saying we can go for the same money and marry a basula Bas Yisrael for 200 zuz. So they retracted their previous statement.
They went back to their original stance.
Disrespect to almana because they won't be. We're not worried about getting divorced. Yep. We're worried about getting married.
That's right. Yeah. We have to weigh both factors. I'm afraid you're in love with your husband, so definitely.
Why would you get married planning divorcing?
We did not want to make it easy in the eyes of their divorce. They didn't want to make it very easy. They'll say, well, it's a small amount of money. Divorce them. Rashi says it's considered a great bezoy that a Bas Kohen should be divorced. Much more so than it even would be for a Bas Yisrael. Because a Kohen is supposed to be very choshev, the most choshev of all Jews, and for his daughter to go and suffer the indignation of being a divorcee is a terrible portion of the...
Maybe it was a schus that she...
Whatever it is, but the fact is...
Okay, so they used to have a basin of Kohanim. Used to tell them how much they would get. This is not only talking... they didn't say this only... The Chachamim didn't say this only by a basin of Kohanim. The people, the regular Jewish people can have the same setup.
The regular Jewish families, genealogical record.
Right. If they want to do like the Kohanim did,
they can do it. They can do it.
Makes me ask you a question. I wrote the last of Kadesh Shekanim Osin. You can go Bas Yisrael, like marrying a Bas Yisrael. But if you want to do like the Kohanim, what did the Kohanim do? To go Bas Yisrael.
Can you
read it?
That's good. I wrote the last of Kadesh Shekanim Osin. We just said that if you want to do like the Kohanim did, okay, you could do it. Keep going. So what did they do, for example? Bas Yisrael a coin, to marry a Bas Yisrael to a coin.
If a person wants to go and make an exaggerated amount of Kesuvos,
Wait, what are you making? You said it make it sound derogatory. Wait, an exaggerated amount.
more than 200 zuz,
Prophet-
excluding
I
that.
know.
If a person wants to inflate the amount of the silver shell, a coin, or bossy, they can do it.
So I'll connect.
So now the Gemara is going to ask the question.
Okay, Bas Yisrael a coin or Bas Yisrael, who the Ikatat Kahuna. By those people, we have a side of Kahuna that either he's marrying a coin or she's marrying.
Wait.
She's marrying
The
a
question is this. Basically, I ask you a question. A person who wishes to go and do in the way the Kohanim were doing, a Bas coin to a Bas Yisrael to a coin, or a Bas Yisrael coin to Israel, most things they can do.
The question,
She's married up.
the question is, what will it do? The question is,
You can do
what,
it,
what,
too.
what will happen if,
What?
because what,
That's how that's what will come out here in the end.
the question, isn't the question that if you don't have Kohanim involved and all you have is two Yisraelim, why it wouldn't really matter because there's
No, it says specifically that it could be done.
it could be done, but the question is, it
No,
wouldn't matter.
we have a Mamre Israel coin. About, so presumably from that statement we learn out Israel coin about who the Ikotzat Kahuna. That's the only time that you can go and make an inflated value. No, you got to read it all together, otherwise you don't know the question.
Otherwise, nobody else knows how to read that Gemara. If you don't read it slow and let everybody see how each word goes, nobody will be able to understand it. I learned this Gemara before. That's exactly what it is. Fine. Inside, then we can understand why you would inflate it. But if we don't have a tzakun and you only have two Yisraelim marrying each other, then why do you inflate it to 400 zuz? That's exactly what I just said the question was. I get emotional at times. Calmly.
Oh, yeah. Wait, come on.
Okay. No. Then no. Presumably no. You wouldn't be able to inflate summer. It means not only by a place where there's a coin, but also where the Yisrael is involved.
Yeah, Ikotzat Kahuna on either side, we can still go and have an inflation if they desire it. Of course, the trouble is, if you inflate, you might price your stock out of the market. Okay. So this is the problem. That breaks it down to sanity. I would like to have the very best, but the Torah says if there are other Jewish stuff.
Okay. Also we can talk about Yisraelim. Okay. Not only by that, but we can also do it by a Bas Yisrael to Yisrael. That you have to bring me. This is the way I translate it. Can you just bear with me because I might do it a different thing you do it, but see if I'm right. See, he can say to her that you have to bring me up. You have to bring me. He can't say to her that I have to have an aliyah because he's not a kohen. He's only Israel. See, when you have kohanim involved, they have to have a higher standard than ordinary people would have because of the fact that they're kohanim. So therefore, since these are two Yisraelim that are getting married, he can't say to her that you have to bring me up. You have to give me this aliyah. Okay, let me translate. The lo mati yamallah. He cannot find to say to her, ilavai kam malina lich, that you have to give me an aliyah. You have to bring me up.
Why was her charging more?
Tell me what it means. What does it mean?
I am elevating you.
He can't say to her, I'm elevating you.
I'm elevating you.
No, I can't find to say to her.
That I am elevating you.
It's not her that it has to be elevated. It's the man that has to be elevated. Because no.
If he's elevated, then he gets more money for her.
But if you have a coin that marries a Bas Yisrael, then they're going to say the Gemara. He can find to say to her.
I would say no. He can't say it.
Can please let me do it? But wait, look at the Sefer.
We have another.
Yeah.
I
show you where I see it. All right. The next person about Bas Yisrael a coin, but a Bas Yisrael that's going to marry a coin. The Moti Omerlah, he can find to say to her, "Ilov I come malin and leaf. I'm a coin. You have to give me an aliyah. You have to bring me up. That's why you give her the. It's a higher status. People go to these stores like Neiman Marcus. They go there just because it's like a higher status thing when you pay more for something. When you pay more.
Can I pay more? You get more supposedly. So my question is, I'm asking you. It's saying that okay. cannot, he can't say to her that, we're being elevated, then she'd be worth supposedly more.
Therefore, you shouldn't have. We can't say that I am elevating you by marrying me.
Why not?
I'm elevating you. As a matter of fact, I'm elevating you in this state. I'm letting you marry me. That should be sufficient. You shouldn't have. I would say that.
Oh, don't we learn in another place that
Because he was married below his level either.
I take it.
That more money is involved, it will be of a higher status for him.
You mean he's going to pay her more money?
I mean,
yeah, it makes sense. I got to pay you because you're doing me a favor? Hold it. You mean, I'm saying to you since I'm making you marry up, I'm elevating you.
Yeah.
Therefore,
Look at Rashi. In the bottom of the page.
Yeah.
Turn back. Three. No, gate.
Amona Bas Coin. That means that Amona is Bas Coin. Oh, you go from the basula. They used to collect for a basula. Kishanisis, when she went to the chuppah, the coin, when she got married to a coin, Bas Coin got married to a coin. The kol shekin Kishanisis Yisrael, and certainly when she would be married, also
Mm-hmm.
the inner column, look dog, Menachem, dog. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so they wanted to give to a Amona 100 and to a basula 400.
So therefore, they were afraid.
They were afraid to travel with contempt. The Ammonas would be light in their eyes, because they had a smaller silver that was a quarter of what the basulas were getting.
That's right.
So Takinu Lahu Mossam, they instituted for them 200. The Gnai Hayalahem, that it was a shameful thing for them.
No matter what her status was.
And even though Ammona Vasya
Also
had a kind of higher, more importance, and it is a shameful thing for them. When their daughters get divorced, so more than it would be to a regular Yisrael.
Because a
coin coming up to them and saying, "What's going on with my daughters here?"
Let's talk about Amoritz marrying a Bas coin. Aaron coin comes in the Tainas. How come they're marrying into my mishpacha? As fasted as an Amoritz to marry a Bas coin. But if the chassid the Bas coin.
So what's the last part that he's saying to her? That it's hard for me to get the thing that she has
women
to
have to think that women should never marry down over to you cannot lower their standard. Like if a woman's used to a certain standard, when you get married to her, you have to keep her in the accustomed to where she is.
The standards of what she would like to become accustomed to.
All daughters of Israel are potential queens, and all Jews are potential kings. So we're all up there.
King. Outright. I mean,
really.
you know, on the scale.
There were. She was married to a man who was a top.
But as far as actually being a king, as the Torah says, king, and all the
can a
kingdom
woman
of the
be
king.
that? Could she be like they say just king because?
Well,
And I was wondering because the reason why is because but is there?
I don't know.
Is it because since she's kings?
Don't laugh. It's really hard to bring her up. Here.
She's married me about to
They drive these big cars, and they pay a lot of money because they want prestige.
Forget that.
So they're willing to pay for the prestige.
Forget it.
In fact,
So
people pay for
marry
prestige.
a monarch, but they're not going to for the same money. They
pay
really
for
marry.
prestige.
What's the prestige? We marry.
I can learn it both ways, so it's fine.
I'm very happy about it.
This next one is my favorite.
I'm very happy that this next one. Now, I call your attention to the fact from Yud Ben Beis to the end of the period, you have to remember each one of these things.
I know, but it's
And
so
when you
hard.
start the second period, you have to know it all in order to start.
Okay. A man marries a woman, presumably he married this woman under the presumption that she was a basula. And now it turns out, he finds out she's not a basula.
She finds out.
She says,
Now, the Kesuvos was written at the time of Erison or Kedushi.
No, Kesuvos.
What?
The Kesuvos is written before the chuppah.
Before the chuppah.
But he married.
But when he married her, when the Kesuvos was written out, she said, they asked her, and she said, "Give basula." Okay, and he said, and now he finds out, maybe not. She says, "Mishe'erastani nasti." After you married me, after you gave me Erson, after you gave me the first stage, we went to the first stage of marriage, Nanasti. Then I was raped. And it's your tough luck. because
Yeah.
or actually his field is inundated.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
the
he's
thing
stuck
is,
with him. He's
because
stuck with
since if it happened before they got married, if then it would be a mechatos because she should have said something. And since it happened afterward, it's not a mechatos because they got married under the presumption of that she was a basula. Okay. So
Now,
then he
doesn't-
says,
and remember the time that she made.
It's a meeting.
Yeah, we'll learn that later.
I know.
She could have said, therefore you believe her, because if she wanted to lie, she could
She's
have said a
possibly
bigger
also
lie.
a coin. If he's a coin, she's puzzled.
No, we're talking about presumably a marriage to Israel. Because we don't say the marriage to a coin until we mention usually go according to the majority of Jews are Israeli, not Koran.
so that would have been a bigger lie.
They say things that hurts her, so that she has a
Yeah.
legal. If she wanted to, she could have said a
bigger-
thing, and it could have been accepted.
Yeah, right. Okay. And he says, no, it happened before we got married, before I married you. And
What
why
he's saying is happened before you got married. First of all, this statement.
It's not, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
When a person knows exactly what happened, he doesn't know. Then was he watching?
Okay, so he said no. He says, no, it happened before we got married, and it was.
And the river adopted stolen, adopted.
I feel like I'm at the United Nations. It's like Rabbi Yezer saying, no matter she is believed, and we don't depend on what she says, and her literally, we don't live according to her mouth.
And Rabbi on a chai. Where left it?
She is in a chazak that she's a beula. Ad shalom tisaris before she had gotten ersin.
A good proof, a good evidence for irreversible.
How is she supposed to, I understand the money.
We're assuming, you're asking the question. We'll learn later on because she has a mingle. And according to Rabbi Yeshua, we're presuming that,
Which is the man, is the present donor.
yes.
So my question is, how is she supposed to prove anything? How do you prove that? I noticed, first of all, they were aiding, they should have helped her, and they wouldn't have been. How is she going to prove it?
Yes, even though right now, if somebody deviled in the big, where they become Torah, it's because they're from the male. So when you see now, when you measure it, it's less than 40. When the mikveh become least 40 saw. Here we see the woman is no longer also a basula. So when, the question is, when did she become more? I'm going to ask the Shaila.
So the more Itzvah, we learned. Okay, somebody says to somebody else, they says, tell Shimon that you have a mana, a sum of money of mine in your hand. Omer, Shimon says, any of the, I don't know.
So the erste sagt, ihr guckt mir, and the zweite,
back the money.
because bestand, Ruben, was sagt, as ihr guckt mir, ohne Zuz, ist Bori,
and the other side says, they say he doesn't have to pay.
You have to, not.
No, I paid you. We say according
I don't know if I paid you or not. Yeah. Okay, okay, they say fine. So I'm going to say, what's the reasoning? Okay, so Rav Yehuda, Amri Chayev, who did say Chayev? Why? What's the reasoning? Borig B'Shem or Boriyadif. If one person is sure and the other one is not sure, we go according to the one who's sure.
So down river is stop sign. What? That's right.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Rav Nachman, Rav Yochanan, Amri Pater. They say he doesn't have to pay. Oops, up, and that the money is in its owner's hands. But I understand if the money's in its owner's hands, Reuven is telling Shimon that if Reuven is claiming it's his money, Shimon is not making any response to ownership.
Erzu.
How is Shimon considered the owner?
Erzu.
I didn't know what
What is one of a chesed story?
If the money's going to let, I know the halacha is not like this.
We're not going to lend people money that they don't pay back. So
That's just money. We put the money in its owner's hands.
we leave it where it is.
swear that he doesn't know.
Yes, it's
We make him swear a shvuas hesed. Shvuas hesed is translated in English as an equitable oath. An equitable oath means what is only fair. So Reuben comes and something. So as es bleibt the Kesuvos von aber Pochas Besotor, aber ihr muss doch sagt du here kommt er nicht.
That which we learned that Rabbi, it's just like if
Als ihr müsst geben, guckt wer, was er
we learned the Mishnah. There's a woman is pregnant. They say to her, "My people, who is the father of this woman?"
What is the status here?
I know, but I'm trying to make this more understandable in this framework.
Wir sagen, wir sind getrocknet mit der Kind, and die hat kein Mann. Where is the man?
She's unwed. Where does it say she's unwed? I could not see anywhere where it says she's unwed. It just says she's standing alone here, and who's the father? None of your business. Nobody says here that she's an unwed mother. Whether the baby or even the mother and the baby.
We're trying to get where the babies.
The
There's children among babies.
No, but we're talking now about a situation where we're concerned primarily about the status.
The father is the mother.
There's a question, what makes her a zona? She lives in a goy.
Somebody that ordinarily a Jewish, okay. So it's the same thing. The Jews, you have relations with the
Yeah, you're concerned at this point, primarily with the Sarnia.
Right, okay. So what's the status of this one's father? So she said, it's from this man and he's a coin.
So if it's a coin,
not necessarily.
He lives with girls.
Who said she wasn't married? Is it in a minute she believes? She knows. She should know.
She knows.
She should know. If anybody, she should. Have you just said maybe So Rabbi, so in this case, it would seem Shmuel's agreeing with because she knows. Okay, so it's saying this is another Mishnah that corroborates that the way Shmuel holds. This is also like Shmuel.
No, Shmuel.
Yeah, they say boy the show, and she's boring. She knows. She should know. Okay, so Shinana, we learned Amrit. We learned. Shinana Amrit. Oh, Shinana is certain. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
I'm learning Kesuvos. Trying to practice too, like we had in the case there. I'd say also in the case there. If you're going to say the halacha is like Rabbi Gamliel, why do you say the halacha is Rabbi Gamliel?
Like Rabbi Gamliel in both places.
And we'll learn the next time we learn.
No, Rabbi Yehuda says in the Gemara Chayim.